If you've been following basketball at all over the past season, you've inevitably followed the story of last year's #1 overall pick, Markelle Fultz. After a 154-day absence and much speculation about his mysterious shoulder injury, he returned to the 76ers lineup towards the end of the regular season, and had moments of effectiveness, culminating in his remarkable triple-double regular season finale game, where he finished with 13 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds in just 25 minutes of play. However, 76ers fans' expectations were tempered a little when Fultz failed to record a single meaningful minute in the postseason, where he didn't make it onto the court in the series in which they would eventually be eliminated against the Celtics. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why your expectations should be further tempered, as I believe that there is still some cause for concern regarding Fultz's fitness and his attempt to return from the injury that sidelined him for most of the year. The first thing to understand is the nature of Fultz's injury. The limited news that the public has received about his injury has revealed that it is some type of scapular imbalance. This is quite vague, but it is revealing in some senses. Because it is a muscular imbalance, we can assume that something Fultz does causes that imbalance, otherwise he wouldn't have an imbalance to deal with in the first place. Given the situation, it's pretty clear that it's his shooting form motion that has caused that imbalance, as muscular imbalances are usually caused by motions that people repeat over and over again, like a jump shot in basketball, a swing in baseball, or a shot in tennis. If that really is the case, then surely he has addressed the problem by changing his shooting form motion, which is something that we can clearly see by comparing his college and pre-draft shooting technique to his current technique. However, despite the major changes to his technique, which I've documented in some of my previous videos on this topic, Fultz has only attempted a single three-pointer in his 10-game return to the league at the end of the season, and he didn't take one at the start of the season either. There's also no footage of him shooting a three in any of the practice sessions that we've seen. This suggests that something is still seriously wrong with his shoulder, which is very troubling because a massive reason why he was drafted #1 overall was his three-point shooting. If we go back to Fultz's college tape, we can see that a huge part of his game was his outside shot. He took 5 threes per game in college, and shot an exceptional 41.3% on those threes. Compare that to two other standout rookies from this year, Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell, and you can see that Fultz was a far better volume three-point shooter than both of them. No team in today's NBA would take a normal-sized point guard who doesn't even shoot threes with the #1 overall pick. Only once-in-a-generation type athletic playmakers like LeBron James and Ben Simmons are worthy of that kind of attention at that age without a three-point shot. Therefore, with the three-point shooting he brought to the table among other things, the Fultz pick made a lot of sense. Digging a little deeper, we find some even more interesting details. According to Derek Bodner of The Athletic, Fultz and his longtime friend and trainer actually worked on changing his technique before Fultz was even drafted. The supposed changes were to reduce his dip and bring his set point from the left side of his body over towards the right side of his body. These changes have clearly stuck with Fultz, and we can see that his set point is still considerably over towards the right when compared to his college set point. Whether or not these changes caused Fultz's imbalance, or were made in response to a growing imbalance, is not clear, and I doubt we'll ever know that. But, given the fact that Fultz was shooting the same way all throughout high school and college without any shoulder issues, I would probably guess that the changes were made before the injury and then caused the imbalance. This makes a lot of sense, as changing the horizontal location of the set point is bound to change the forces and pressures on the shoulder joint and the surrounding muscles of the shoulder. When you are training ahead of the NBA draft and preparing for team workouts, you're probably going to be taking a whole load of three-pointers. Combine the volume of an NBA training regimen with a significant change to your shooting arm angle, and to me, that sounds like an increase in the risk of developing some kind of muscular imbalance. Of course, even with this increased risk, I think the likelihood of others experiencing this kind of issue is extremely low, even with NBA volume training. I truly think that Fultz is in a pretty unique situation, and an unfortunate one at that. This brings me back to the current situation. Fultz isn't even thinking about shooting threes in games or in practice. This is as clear a sign as any that something is still seriously wrong, even though he returned to the court. Which brings me to the question of why he returned at all. If he is still experiencing some sort of pain from an injury or imbalance when shooting threes, then why is he even playing at all? Not only is he limited in his ability to help the team when he can't take a jump shot from beyond 10 feet, but he's limiting his own ability to excel and increase his stardom by dominating on the court. In my opinion, playing in such a limited way is actually hurting his stock, and therefore potentially hurting his future contract negotiations. Of course, he still has lots of time to prove everyone who is doubting him wrong by overcoming this imbalance, by either miraculously recovering with this same technique or returning to his old technique. I would also like to clarify that I'm 100% hoping that Fultz is able to recover his health and start shooting long-range jump shots again. I supported the 76ers taking him with their pick last year, largely because he displayed the ability to make threes, something that Philadelphia needs from the guard positions, particularly because of the presence of the ultimate non-shooter in Ben Simmons. I would like nothing more than to see some summer workout footage where Fultz is sending up long threes, but until I see recent footage showing that, I have to remain doubtful that everything is going fine in Philadelphia. Finally, I want to hear your thoughts on the situation with Fultz. Let me know what you think is going to happen with his injury over the coming months in the comments below, and especially do so if you think you have some kind of insider information or insight. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And for those of you hoping to see episode 3 of Head to Toe soon, I'm currently working on it, so I'll be uploading it in the coming week or two. I'm looking forward to making a lot more videos over the coming summer months, as I'll have a lot more free time on my hands. Until the next one, thanks for watching, and as always, I hope you enjoyed this video.